video, look at my hands. It's the Eid time. And which Eid? Of course, Eid al-Azha. Okay, that means meat, sacrifice. May Allah accept all our sacrifices. But few things as a reminder, I thought that I must share with my viewers, with my friends, to remember that yes, it's Eid time, it's our Eid, and we must enjoy it. And we can enjoy it in many ways, like not only eating meat, but we should, I think, distribute this meat according to our religion allows. Now, the thing which I wanted to discuss today is what can happen to somebody who is having or is eating a lot of meat on this Eid. Well, besides the things which I'm going to talk about today, there are many other things which can happen, God forbid, and can happen to anyone, including me, but I'm not a meat lover, so excluding me. So I'm not a meat lover, but of course I will, if I'll sacrifice an animal, I will I will definitely consume little amount of it, because it's a heavy meat. We know that the way the animals are raised, the way they are, they are treated, and they are, especially, they are fed with special things like, a lot of dry fruits and a lot of fats, saturated fats, and things like that, that their meat becomes very much fatty, and that's not that much, easy to digest even by a normal human. The one who is having who eats normal diet, it's difficult for that person, but the persons who can eat or who can consume a lot of meat, they can digest it. But there are a few suggestions for the meat lovers. Of course, I would definitely discuss. I'm Professor Dr.Mchem from Dr.Mchem Institute of Chemistry, University of St. Jamshire, and I'm right now here to discuss something about the sacrifice and the eat, and how to eat, this sacrificed meat. So what I wrote here is eat less sacrificed meat. Stop barbecues, please. Now, why I focused on this barbecues? Because now, with the passage of years, over years, I've seen that this trend has been increased a lot. Every place, every house, every home, every family is enjoying barbecues, because in that sense we can consume a lot of food, a lot of meat, a lot of dry meat in just few hours. So maybe it's good for the people who are less, who have less hemoglobin, who have less iron contents, who have less cholesterol. It's good for them, but not for everyone. So there are things which you are supposed to keep in your mind. What are those? Let's discuss that. Do not eat too much dry slaughtered meat immediately, consumed after at least 6 to 8 hours, which is impossible, because we know that as the animal is slaughtered, what we receive first is the liver, and liver is the most, the organ that has a lot of iron in it. It has a lot of it raises hemoglobin immediately. It's very good for the patients who have low hemoglobin levels and low iron, so it's good for them, but not at all good for those who have high cholesterol. Please avoid liver, please avoid the other organs also, XYZ, that contains the highest level of cholesterol, as for example the head, of course, and of course the feet, which we cook with a lot of interest, which we call it city pie. So avoid city pie, avoid brain, even don't eat brain. It has a high level of cholesterol. Don't eat. It's just a suggestion, it's just a request for all those who are facing problems like cholesterol, that is LDL, especially whose LDL, that is the bad cholesterol levels, are not good. Please try to avoid the dry slaughtered meat. And for everyone, there's a suggestion that do not eat as it has been slaughtered just on that instant. No, let it rest for a while. consume after 6 to 8 hours, which is, I think, not possible for us, the Muslims. No way. Because, we have this trend set in our mind that we must eat as it's been slaughtered, the fresh meat. This thing is in our mind. So what is red meat? Consumption of red meat actually causes the problem. So what is red meat? Of course, the mammals, they are the main source of this red meat. Rich in iron and protein. What are those animals? Especially, you can count these animals. Of course, everyone knows these are, the things which an 8-year-old kid knows. But still, we keep on eating these things which are harming us even. The beef, lamb, goat, camel. These are all the, animals that that are included in this series of mammals, and they have, rich iron and protein levels and fats also. Now, what does it contain? It contains important amino acids. 9 essential amino acids are there, right? The essential ones. Beef, now without fat, has the beef that is a lean meat. You can call it a lean meat. Without fat, has calories above 200, whereas proteins above 27 grams. Vitamin B12, B6, which I just mentioned it to you, that it's the best. It's best for those who have, who are facing thalassemia, thalassemics. Those who who are suffering from thalassemia minor, their vitamin B level is always low. They have low hemoglobin. They have low iron. So this is all B12 or B6. So what is their percentages? These are the approximate ranges. B12 has 158%, B6 has 19%, whereas zinc and selenium are 68 and 35%. Okay, good information. Now, how to cook the food? Heating at high temperatures. Now, everyone says cook it for a very long period and cook it at a very high temperature. It will kill, it will damage, it will eliminate, it will eradicate all the bacteria, all the microbials, microorganisms. So what happens? No, heating at high temperature causes heterocyclic aromatic amines to produce, which are what? Which are carcinogenic. That is how they can be produced. There is a possibility, can be produced of course, in barbecues. So lessen barbecue again a suggestion. Lessen barbecue. You can have a little bit of barbecue. It's a small party, a small gathering, having low quantity of meat, right? Consuming very low quantity of meat, but not the tons and tons of meat which we eat on these barbecues, because it's a dry meat, right? And when it becomes more harder as you are cooking it on fire and on on very high heat, so it can become a carcinogenic, right? And it develops a crust which is very hard and it can harm you. So maybe the medical students, because I was a medical student once, so I know what is rigor mortis. It is simply something that happens to a dead body after, it's suddenly after its death. That is, the muscle, they start stiffening, toughens, they become stiff, right? So what actually is happening inside the body is that there are a lot of enzymes, there are a lot of things that are, drying off, that are flowing. So this same happens with the slaughtered animal, right? So wait for 24 hours after the slaughter, which is impossible. You can see a smiling face. It's simply impossible for us to wait for 24 hours. But this has been advised on medical terms in many journals, in many research journals. I have read this thing, so I thought that I must revise these things, that wait for rigor mortis to happen. Okay, so now, okay, if not for 24 hours, then we can wait for 6 to 12 hours. It's okay in my terms, because as I have just mentioned, I'm not a meat lover. I can wait the whole day. I can, wait for a very long period of time, no problem. Well, not for everyone, it's Eid, and I believe that on Eid day we are supposed to, have our portion. We must consume our portion, because according to our religion, we must eat that portion, right? It's our right, and it's in our religion, so we must obey that also. So but these are only the small precautions which we must take as if we are suffering from, or just to avoid certain diseases that can happen and that are happening due to eating a lot of red meat during this these slaughtering times, these eat times. So as I just mentioned, wait 6 to 12 hours, it's okay, or wait, let it rest. This is what I just mentioned, let it rest. That means the process of rigor mortis, let the blood shed, right? Let the blood shed. Wait, as what happens otherwise? Let the blood shed. Why we call that, oh, let the blood shed? Why? Well, it's because of one of the reasons, microorganisms, right? Microorganisms, like I just mentioned one which is produced, it's Escherichia coli, and there are many other microorganisms that can be produced quickly. Let enzymes also flow out. So wait for a while. Now, I'm not here promoting camel meat, but I have read this in the studies that camel meat has the lowest fat level, whereas lambs the highest level of saturated fats. So avoid, please avoid. As I'm a chemist, Dr. Mchem, so let's talk about cholesterol that has the molecular formula C27H46O. This is the structural formula of this organic compound called cholesterol. It is directly related to the steroids also. Now, what are cholesterols? The LDL, the HDL, and triglycerides. These are the main components of cholesterols, which everyone knows. This one is a bad one. This one is a good one, right? And then they, do some calculations for this one also. And let's talk about all these. So LDL, I will just give you a little knowledge about all these things. LDL, it's a bad cholesterol, as I just mentioned, whereas HDL, good one, present in our every cell of our blood, and it's called what? Lipoproteins. Lipo means fat. What is this? Lipo means fat, simply fat. Wherever you encounter a word called lipo, it means fat. So lipoproteins, along with, I've written also with fat. So, meat eaters can suffer heavy damage during having a reactive effect on cholesterol. Okay, what happens? Yes, the meat eaters, the meat lovers who consume a lot of meat, a lot of dry meat, it's always suggested that make a curry, make a gravy, make soups of the meat and then consume it. Don't eat it dry, right? Because it can, produce a lot of other reactive effects on your inside your blood. Resulting, of course, there are always the consequences of consuming that much amount of dry meat: cardiac arrest, cardiac attack, or diseases related to all heart. They can God forbidden, a person can have such unpleasant attacks, unpleasantness during these days. So avoid eating that much amount of dry meat. You can, God forbid, a person can have a stroke. Why? Strokes always happen due to the thickening of arteries. So if you are on some blood thinner, it's good. Or you should have a blood thinner if you were, so fond of eating dry meat. Okay, heart patients that are, of course, they have some diseases like angina, other problems, should avoid lamb's meat. Yes, as I've just mentioned, its fat content is very high. Or any red meat. You can eat soups, you can eat gravies, you can eat veggies, you can eat salads. Why? Salads, yes, to save yourself from meat's acidic effect. Meat produces acidic effects. So that was all today. I hope everyone would stay safe, happy and healthy during this lovely Eid timings, and I pray that you all enjoy your Eid, and may Allah Pak accept your sacrifices, and may you will be able to distribute according to our religion. Distribute meat according to our religion. Make the portions accordingly, and do not refrigerate your food for longer period. I can make another video for refrigerations also, that what precautions you should take when you are refrigerating this meat, because nowadays we have a lot of electricity problems. So what happens, you freeze the meat, it will not freeze within 24 hours, first of all, because you're not keeping it in a cool place. You have to, after the slaughtering period, you must keep it under the fans and let it cool. Let the rigor mortis finishes, and then start putting inside, start making the portions and start distributing it, because you are going to refrigerate your portion, refrigerate a small amount of your portion, and then do not defrost it, and then again freeze it, then again defrost it, then again freeze it. If you will continue this process, the microorganisms, they are going to be produced inside your meat, and you will be affected, you will be harmed by different gastrointestinal issues also, like diarrhea, like dysentery, like vomitings, like high fever. So please stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. Thank you very much. I hope you like this video, and I hope you would appreciate that even at this day, I'm also very busy in Eid preparations. I have prepared this very small piece of advice for all my friends, all my viewers. So hopefully I'll be back with another good stuff, interesting stuff for you people. And it's also why I made this video, it's also on many of my viewers' requests to make such a video. So I hope you like, and you are now happy that I made it for you people, though I was very busy. So happy to all my viewers. Thank you so much.